Tonight, as the legal battles begin between the Trump administration and local officials, protesters are accusing federal agents of stopping people based on their race.
Straight up.
That is straight out of Nazi Germany.
Look, listen, if there's a lady from if there's somebody or gentleman or whoever's from UK and they look like her, they will get arrested as well, and they'll get deported.
On the sidewalk being peaceful?
It's simple. It is just, it's straight simple. They can look like me, you, her, him. If you're legal or illegal, you'll get deported.
So Bakari alluded to this in the last segment, but this is one of the main things I think the protesters are pushing back on, because we have seen a lot of the videos and interactions in which ICE seems to be making these random stops and doing so predominantly to people who are Black and brown.
Right, and they're often picking up people who are Americans and just targeting them because of their race. And they're destroying communities because of it. People who worry that they don't look, quote unquote, American, as in white Anglo, you know, they're not going to the Home Depots. They're not leaving their houses. This is the problem. I mean, you're racially profiling communities, and now you don't even need a warrant to do it anymore.
And you know what I look at this, and night after night, we see the excesses by ICE. And what pisses me off is I never see them detaining the employers, the people who are employing undocumented immigrants, the people making money off of exploiting many times undocumented immigrants. Where is the fire? Where is the energy for those folks is what I want to know.
Are they at least getting
I believe
fined?
a few in North Carolina actually did get in trouble for that when they raided their...
Well, there's a hell of a lot more of a few. The reason that so many people come to this country is because they find employment.
We got to turn the magnets off all the time. All the time. And look, first of all, I think that ICE officer handled himself pretty well.
It would have been.
I think
it would have been a much nicer interaction had he not had like a
mask on. He said,
"Look like people weren't trying to dox him and kill him." That might be the case.
I agree with you. I mean, I think it was actually very respectful, but it was strange because they're having a conversation.
Yeah, he looked like a Mexican lucha libre wrestler.
Even though people of European descent, which I would presume those women are, I don't know. I'm guessing they only make up 3 to 4% of undocumented immigrants. ICE has deported people from Poland. They've picked up people from Ireland, on 99 of them. They've picked up people from all over the case. So it happens. It just so happens that most of them...
Do you think that ICE is picking up people because of the color of their skin?
I hope they are picking them up because they are here illegally and have committed a crime.
But I mean, the problem is that it's a yes or no question, and the evidence bears out yes.
If they are innocent,
because what
they ought
happens,
not be deported.
Over 70% of the people that are being detained don't have a criminal.
I have made the point many times over, if there is a mistake made or if there is any wrongdoing, they ought to be rectified.
7 out of 10 are not a mistake.
Just to this point that we're having, Chris Murphy, the senator, he was in San Antonio at an immigration court, and he talked about what he saw when he was there. Listen to this.
I got to talk to the ICE officers. I said, who are you prioritizing? Their answer, everyone. I said, wait, I thought you were prioritizing criminals. They said, no, we're looking for anyone that walks in to legally present themselves before the court, and we're putting them into detention.
So people walking into court, trying to do what they're supposed to do under the law to either address their status, to file for asylum, whatever it is. There are a lot of reasons that you can be in a courthouse. And according to Chris Murphy, they're just being swept up because the directive is to just pick everybody up.
Well, first of all, I want to say about that interaction, what you guys cut off of the clip before you showed was one of those white women calling that Black ICE officer a race traitor.
Black.
She accused him of reading at a level of an 8th grader and called him a Nazi. So it was actually respectful until they became absolutely disgusting and said completely inappropriate things to him. 70%, according to DHS, 70% of those who have been picked up have a criminal record, have some criminal charges against them or an actual conviction. So 70%, that's a very good number. But also, the American people voted Trump in on a promise that he would carry out the largest deportation effort in American history. 57% of Americans on 20 different polls said they want every single illegal migrant deported.
I think the problem,
so this idea of the worst of the worst, I understand why that's now what Democrats are willing to admit, that they're willing to deport. The problem is that's not what Trump ran on, and it's not what he got elected on.
The problem that we have, I think you brought up an amazing point, is that it's fracturing and ripping away communities.
Yeah.
And I mean, what we're talking about here is that you, TW, you can walk down the streets of Minneapolis right now and feel safe that you'll go from point A to point B and not be harassed and not the threat of anybody pulling you over because of the color of your skin. That is what America should be.
This is only happening in Minneapolis
I'm going to finish this thought.
because
I'm going to finish this thought.
sanctuary
I'm going to
city,
finish
and
this
they
thought.
will
You
not
cannot-
cooperate with ICE.
First of all, it doesn't matter if you are in a sanctuary city in Minnesota or you're in a sanctuary city
Finish
in
your thought.
Kansas. Like racism flat out has no place in this
Bakari,
country.
we gotta
But
go.
I was going to say, if Anna and I walk down that same street, they're going to stop us, and they're going to let the white people at this
think
table
that's
keep going.
ridiculous.
All right,
It's
we
sad
gotta
that
go.
Biden put us in this
It's
position.
factual. It is what's actually
Panel is
happening.
gonna
That you
give
don't
us their
think it's happening
nightcaps.
is ridiculous.
Extreme Home Makeover Edition. We'll be right back.